A lot of interesting games on today's college football card as we enter the 7th Saturday of this season, which is quickly flying by. We'll be talking about BCS polls, possible bowl matchups coming up here in the next month as the season winds down. I think perhaps the game that has the most interest today is one of the games that is most steeped in tradition, the annual Red River Rivalry. Go ahead, I dare you to say that 3 times quickly. Red River Rivalry, the game between Texas and Oklahoma. Of course, FYI, in case you happen to be on Jeopardy next week and Alex Trebek hits you with the question, you know, as I recall, and you probably do too as a kid, used to be called the Red River Shootout, but then they had a corporate sponsor change back in 2005, and they thought Red River Shootout, oh yeah, it was going to condone gun violence, like people need an excuse to go out and get a gun in this day and age anyway, and that was going to influence them one way or another. So being politically correct, they changed it to Red River Rivalry. So in case you get hit up with that question on Jeopardy, you are now prepared for the answer. But it's an interesting game, too. You know, early in the week, I thought Texas was the play there, getting 3.5 points, considering the Longhorns were looking for atonement after getting annihilated in last year's game, a turnover-marred fest for the Longhorns. But then you have to think about Texas. You know, they had to rally in the final minute to win in Stillwater against Oklahoma State in double revenge a couple of weeks ago. Last week at home, you saw how pathetic that defense was against Geno Smith and the Mountaineers. I mean, Smith picked apart their secondary. Could Landry Jones do the same today? And then West Virginia was able to run the ball at will against what had been a pretty stout Longhorns rushing defense. So I think Oklahoma is the play, but when I vacillate from one side to another, that means that's a game that I can't put money on, if you know what I mean, and that's always been something that has saved me money over the years. Then you have teams that are looking to rebound. How about Florida State? Undefeated, up 16-0 at NC State last week at halftime, and then I think the Seminoles got on the bus and left Raleigh at halftime because something happened. Because in the second half, NC State did all the scoring and they walked off with the 17-16 win. So now the Seminoles are back home in Tallahassee. They're laying a couple of 100 points against Boston College, and that's understandably so because BC last week lost to Army. Cadets running for over 500 yards, but more importantly, that was Army's first win of the season. So can they cover the number here and look to rebound? Then you have a possible letdown situation. You may recall last Saturday, I had my 15-dime play. It was my 30-point double-digit route of the year. It was on Kansas State, and K-State delivered with a 40-point win over Kansas after a sluggish start. But today, Kansas State may be in for a letdown, traveling to Iowa State, laying a touchdown on the road there against the Cyclones. You've got Florida coming off the home upset in the swamp of LSU last week, a dominating defensive performance for the Gators. Or was it even more dominant because LSU was so pathetic offensively? Maybe that's the key in that game. But either way, Florida has owned Vanderbilt. They're playing in Nashville today. They've covered 5 of their last 7 visits. More importantly, they've won 21 consecutive games straight up in the series. But again, is this a potential letdown spot for the Gators? You know, Vanderbilt's coming off the road upset of Missouri. They've covered 9 straight games at home. They almost upset South Carolina in the season opener, covering in a 4-point loss. So those are some of the things that you have to be aware of today. Listen, guys, those games, I don't really have an opinion on any of them other than the Oklahoma-Texas game, as I already gave you. I have 3 free picks coming your way in just a moment, plus a money-saving discount coupon code, as I do every single Saturday. That could save you hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price, plus an offer to get 7 days of the Insider Money Move service and save $174 in the process. All that and more coming up in a moment. But first, I've got to talk about the 2 hottest handicappers at the site, Craig Davis and Matt Rivers. Craig Davis has won 8 of the past 9 days, okay? 8 of the past 9 days. And he's today looking for winning day number 23 out of 32. So in winning 8 of the past 9 days, $10 bettors have won $2,480. In winning 22 of the last 31 days, there's a month-long sample for you. Those same $10 bettors have won $4,720. And today, he's got another one of those 50-dime plays, guys. 50-dime winner number 10 out of 11 and 22 out of 27 overall. And it's another teaser. Oh, FYI, he's won 6 of his last 8 teaser selections. It's on Stanford, Notre Dame, TCU, and Baylor. Just as strong as his teaser winner you got on Thursday night in the NFL with the Titans and the over against the Steelers. Just as strong as the 50-dime winner on the Jets as the home dog Monday night. Just as strong as the 50-dime winner on the Falcons as the road favorite on Sunday. Just as strong as his teaser winner last Saturday when he scored with West Virginia and Oregon. Listen, he is 11-1 this season with 50-dime releases in football, but you shouldn't be surprised. This guy used to be president of fantasyfootball.com. All he does is live, eat, sleep, breathe football, college and pro this type of year, and he has been one of the most consistent winners on the gridiron since he made his debut and joined this site way back in 2009. Meanwhile, Matt Rivers, who had a great baseball season, is rolling here in football. Today, winning day number 10 out of 11, and it's his one and only 500,000 star max wager play, his 2012 Underdog Game of the Year that goes on the early card. He had a 500,000 star play with his NFL Total of the Year. You may recall a few weeks back with the Bengals and Redskins over. The 400,000 star plays, which have been like money in the bank for him, his second highest releases, he has won 25 of his last 36 with them. And that's going back over 6 months, guys. Just hit with the Titans outright over the Steelers on Thursday night. That was a 400,000 star play. Had a 400,000 star play last Saturday with Toledo over Central Michigan. This play is bigger. Again, winning day number 10 out of 11. 500,000 star max wager release from Matt Rivers. Anthony Redd going for his Saturday college football winner number 4 in a row, an 80-dime play on Texas and Oklahoma. Last Saturday, of course, hit the one and only 150-dime play of his career in college football, calling for Florida's outright upset of LSU, taking them as the dog, and they got the win. The 2 Saturdays prior to that, he had cashed in with 75-dime releases. Duke outright over Wake Forest, Clemson covering against Florida State. And today's play is bigger than those winners. Chris Jordan going for winning day number 17 out of 27. Biggest release of the college season. 1,000 star play. Big East Game of the Year, Syracuse and Rutgers. That's on the early card. And finally, Scott Delaney. Biggest release of the college football season as well. Another 100-dime winner. In fact, in college, it's his 100-dime winner, number 22 out of 33 over the past 2.5 years. Pac-12 Game of the Year, Utah and UCLA, over 3 times stronger than last night's winner when he had Navy as the road dog against Central Michigan. So those are among the hot handicappers for you to be aware of. Listen, your money-saving discount coupon code today is going to be SCARY20. SCARY20. Now, what is the importance there? This will save you 20% off your total purchase price. And it's a mix and match coupon. And I'm sorry, guys, if you tune in every Saturday, you've got to hear the spiel again because there's so many new guys coming to the site every single day. Again, it's a mix and match coupon. You can buy somebody's individual plays. You can buy somebody's packages. You can get 20% off your total purchase price today. So, for example, let's say you wanted to make a long-term commitment to Craig Davis. 60 days of Craig Davis's service. All his plays. NBA, college basketball, college football, NFL, any postseason baseball. 60 days of his service. He just won you over $4,000 the past 30 days, right? Normally it would cost $699. You would take $139 off the top by using that coupon code, SCARY20. At the same time, let's say you want to get Matt Rivers' big 500,000 star max wager release today. Well, the cost is $79. You'd use that coupon, guys, and you would save a little over $15 off your total purchase price. The only caveat with this coupon is that you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time. You can't come in and get Craig and get Matt and then an hour later come back and get Chris Jordan. You've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time, and then you take 20% off your total purchase price. And again, that coupon code is SCARY20, SCARY20. SCARY20, the number, no space between scary and 20. SCARY20, 20% off your total purchase price. I do this coupon every single Saturday. I've been doing it since last March, I believe, and I do it for a reason because so many of you, about 80-85% of you out there that are customers here at the site, you're involved in one type of long-term package or another with various handicappers, so I like to allow you to always maximize your savings by giving you these coupons, the same type of coupon on Saturday, because so many of you like to re-up your packages and take advantage of any applicable instant rebates as well, which you can do with that 20% total discount coupon. So let's get now to your free selections here. The first play Oops, I just got to get, I'm looking at something here. Somebody just sent me an instant message as I was doing this video report, guys. Hey, listen, the first play I want to talk about is going to be your contest between South Carolina and LSU. Gamecocks, of course, coming off a monster win. The game that they had really been focused on because Steve Spurrier likes nothing more than beating the Georgia Bulldogs, and that's what they did last week, lock, stock, and barrel, rolling 35-7 in Columbia. Now, today, you're finding South Carolina getting 3.5 points at LSU. You know, everybody talks about LSU's defense. Everybody was talking about Florida's defense last week. But does anybody notice how good South Carolina's defense is? I mean, last week, you know, Georgia had been averaging 48 points and 536 yards per game. They held the Dogs to 224 total yards in that contest in one meaningless score. South Carolina's won 10 straight games. The South Carolina defense is giving up 10.5 points this season. 2.4 yards per carry to opposing running backs. 25 sacks already this year. Now, granted, it's only their third road game of the season. They opened up with that 4-point win at Vandy, where Bart Corner, their starting quarterback, had to leave because of an injury part of that game. They won by 21 easily at Kentucky. LSU has really been an awful play versus the money at home, 6-17-1 against the spread in its last 24 as an SEC home favorite. You know, yeah, I know LSU has won 10 of the last 11 meetings straight up in this series at home. The only loss coming back in 1994, yada, yada, yada. But listen, LSU hasn't shown you anything offensively this season. And the ground game couldn't get going against Florida because they're missing left tackle Chris Falk for the year as well. 42 yards rushing against Florida. And the offensive line gave up 4 sacks as well. And again, I think the South Carolina defense is better than Florida's. LSU may have the number 3 defense in the country, 221 yards per game yield, second in pass defense. But I think in a low-scoring game, I'd be willing to grab the points with South Carolina in this contest. Next game I want to take a look at is going to be West Virginia and Texas Tech. Are you surprised West Virginia is only a 4-point favorite in this game? Obviously, everybody thinks this is a trap game. This is a letdown game. And listen, it could very well be for the Mountaineers after that stunning comeback, after blowing the big 3-touchdown lead, coming back and winning in the final minutes at Austin last week against the Longhorns. But how can you not give West Virginia a chance with your money here? I mean, seriously. Geno Smith, 24 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. Last week, their top running back ran for 207 yards against them as well, against the Longhorns I'm speaking of. Now, granted, the defense is, forget about it. They gave up 63 points to Baylor. They gave up 45 points to Texas in those 2 victories by a touchdown and 3 points. But who says Texas Tech is any good? I mean, Texas Tech lost 41-20 at home to Oklahoma. Sure, the Red Raiders have been 4-0 going into that game against the Sooners, but who did they beat? A bunch of cupcakes. Northwestern State, Texas State, New Mexico. Boy, tough non-conference scheduling there by the Red Raiders, huh, in Lubbock. And Iowa State. So again, West Virginia's in a difficult spot, but listen, the Mountaineers are 9-3 against the spread in the second of back-to-back road games here. The last 12 times they've been in such a spot. And you've got 2 teams that love to pass the ball here, but West Virginia has certainly got the more potent offense. So I say go ahead and lay the points with West Virginia in this contest. Before I get to your final free pick, your other money-saving discount promotion today. Listen, you can see at the site how well the Insider Money Move service has done over the past 2 years since its inception, over the past 2 months. The records are right there on the homepage. If you want to try the Insider Money Move service for 7 days, it'll cost you just $5. Normally it's $179. Use this coupon code, guys, Money174. Money174. M-O-N-E-Y 174. M-O-N-E-Y 174. That will save you $174 off the total purchase. It'll leave you with 7 days of the service starting today for just $5. Listen, the Insider Money Moves service is not for everybody. If you go to the page, you can click on my video, which briefly gives you a really in-depth preview of what it's all about. But remember, as I've told you before, I've been in this business for 25 years. I have seen so many con men and scam artists come on and rave about they've got the inside information. Doesn't exist. Total malarkey. You can find inside information just like them by doing an internet search. Or that they've got the late steam moves. They're sitting in front of a computer screen watching the colors change. Hell, you can sit on our scores and odds page and watch the colors change for the line moves. Problem is, they don't know if it's the public making those line moves happen or whether it's the big bettors. We've got contact sources in all the top Vegas casinos. We get the plays of the top Vegas bettors, the big bettors, and the betting syndicates and crews. And guys, they exist. If you don't think they exist, you're crazy. We get them. We pass them on to you. Some days there might be 3 plays. Some days there might be 10 plays. Some days there may be 1 play. I mean, it's all based on what happens. Check it out. It's not for everybody. So this is a great way for you to see if you like it. $5 for 1 week using Money174 as your coupon code. You know, last week as a free pick, I gave you Texas A&M against Ole Miss, and it was in Oxford, Mississippi, and Texas A&M went out and committed 6 turnovers in that game and had to rally from a 10-point deficit in the fourth quarter for the 30-27 win. So I have a hard time backing Texas A&M today when they're in Shreveport, Louisiana, laying 8.5 to 9 points to Louisiana Tech. Now, Louisiana Tech comes in here having covered 11 consecutive games on the road. And I say the road because they're based in Ruston, Louisiana. They're playing in nearby Shreveport, okay? So it's a road game. But more importantly, this Tech team has just been a money-making machine, period. They've covered 12 of their last 13 games going back to last season. Last week did not get caught looking ahead to this contest when they took care of business at home against UNLV 58-31. Prior to that, they had won outright in a couple of road games against Virginia and Illinois, a couple of BCS teams that aren't that good, but still, hey, they won those games on the road. And when you're playing in that conference and you go and win on the road from the WAC, pretty damn impressive, if you ask me. And the Louisiana Tech offense has just been lights out. You know, they're 5-0 straight up for a reason. They're averaging 53.2 points a game. Not too shabby, right? It's a tough spot for Texas A&M today, guys, because remember Hurricane Earl postponed this game, which was set to kick off the season for both teams. So it's an off week. Texas A&M is in Louisiana. And remember, Texas A&M next week has to go home to play LSU. So they're coming off a bad road performance, a turnover-marred road performance, taking on an LA Tech team that, you know, this is a huge, huge game for Tech. Both teams have great quarterbacks. Colby Cameron doesn't get the pub as other top-notch quarterbacks out there, but, you know, we talk about Geno Smith, but you can't overlook Colby Cameron as you know, completing 68% of his passes this year, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, almost 300 yards a game. The offense is averaging 523 yards a game. Meanwhile, Texas A&M's got that redshirt freshman who also happens to be their leading ground gainer, Johnny Manziel. Texas's A&M's attack is averaging 517 yards per game. I think you got to take LA Tech plus the points, getting, as I said, anywhere from 8.5 to 9.5 in this game as the home dog as your final free selection. Well, that'll do it, guys, for this Saturday video report. And we'll catch you again bright and early on Sunday when we do it all over again.